imagine.
But why exactly? Why does it deteriorate there?
And what we have typically noticed is that the moment a lady employee starts getting into marriage and children, and those are
Social responsibilities.
5-6 years, especially while obviously we discuss women life has those family responsibilities throughout her life, but especially those 5-6 years, they are very crucial for her, and that's the time when industries, business should also support her with various HR policies so that she can pass through that phase without getting out of her career. So we should have policies like, can we allow her to work from home? Organization should allow them maybe about a year, 2 years of sabbatical, where maybe she can take 1 year off and then can come back. Or do you allow her half day working, part-time working? So if organizations take those crucial steps during those specific 5-6 years, I think then beyond that, the same employee has got so much to offer that even if you are giving a little bit favor during that small period, it actually comes back to you manifold.
Manifold, absolutely right.
And that's, I think that's very critical for business and industry to understand.
Yes, sure.
Yes, see what has happened is now that it is a nuclear family system because the joint family system has broken up, especially in the bigger cities where basically primarily businesses are being run. So in this situation, all the more reason the companies where the women are working, they would need all the more support from them because there are no longer the elders sitting at home, and you certainly can't leave your children just to the maids, which domestic help also is a very big issue. They can't raise the child like a family member can take care of a child. So in this circumstance, certainly like my friend has just commented, made his remark that when a woman's career is also on the growth path, and whereas responsibilities come up by way of domestic responsibilities and children and all, ultimately she has to perform a much greater role than the man, than the husband. And then in a nuclear family, who is going to perform that role? So in those circumstances, certainly in America and abroad we have companies, they even allow a little play area in the woman's office so that she gets to spend maximum quality time. She can go pick up and drop her children. Those facilities do not exist in India as of today. And I would also like to say, why has this gender discrimination arisen? It has arisen firstly because women have changed their roles from the domestic role to a professional role. And that's where they have gone and experienced it.
Exactly.
So gender discrimination is there, it is prevalent, and what its future would be and what would be the solution in the future. So first thing what has to be done socially, each person has also got to contribute to reduce it. I mean, a woman alone cannot reduce the gender discrimination. It's what is going to ultimately happen is the overall effect of where she works, what kind of people she works, and how they are going to contribute to reduce it.
I think even the family needs to be sensitized about this issue, you know. Sometimes what happens is that the family, though mentally they're aware that, you know, there are problems, but they just do not want to, you know, take that extra step, so they don't want to recognize it. So it's very important for the family, the corporate office, as well as the in-laws or the supportive family as parents. And I think another important thing which you could bring up is peer groups, you know. Friends could come out with each other and help out, you know. Probably you could have certain systems which the corporate or the society or the sector or, you know, the area has, where the children can be nurtured in a friendly environment, and probably you could probably take turns and do it, you know. So it's very important that that thing is there, and it's not only when the children are born that the mother is required, it's for a very long period of time. You require parents while you're teenagers, while they're older, while they are getting married. So the woman's role does not finish in 5 or 6 years. It has to be a long-term thing, you know. So social responsibility, parental responsibility, home responsibility, as well as in a business, you cannot have excuses. In a teaching session or something like that, you know, it can be 50% less or more one day, you know. If I'm taking tuition or something, I could teach more one day and I could teach less the next day. But in a business scenario, there is no scope for, you know, not giving it your 100%. So I think that is where women are having a difficulty, that they are not being able to give their 100%. So either they leave or they do not get promotions, and that causes a lot of, you know, unrest within also. And sometimes you just take a back seat in life because you just don't want to be subordinate. And when you know you have the capabilities to be equal or maybe even better. But unfortunately, because of your circumstances, you're not being able to deliver.
Right. And Vima, I think she has made a valid point by saying that maybe the workplace is not conducive enough. You're not really allowing the women to go ahead and achieve those targets because she has so many responsibilities.
So I think the the understanding has to be from all sides. You know, the fact that yes, during the time that the social and the family responsibilities get added, the career growth will be slow. You know, that is something which should not be discouraging, because ultimately the workplace will be competitive, the workplace will be harsh, the hours can be long and demanding, and merit at some point will come into play. So hence, if the time during that time she does not make the same progress, she has to understand that aspect also. But yes,
so does the responsibility only lie with the woman? What about the man?
She has to understand.
She has to understand, but also the family, that the fact that are other alternatives tried, you know, is the family open to the consideration that yes, there is daycare and it is okay for the child to go to, and so many other solutions that exist which may not have been tried by the family. I think that is another part of it. And workplace, that is only fair. It's only fair that this understanding develops, but it's all parties together.
Jagdeep, you were saying.
We are talking about, basically we are discussing about a married woman and the children, how responsibility. Now if a woman is even unmarried and she is working in the same office, will she get the same salary? Will she get the same situation, the circumstances, the behavior? That is also gender discrimination. We are talking about a woman. Let's talk about an unmarried woman
with lesser responsibility.
Not all these responsibilities, the same brains, maybe even better brains. When she is working, will she get the same package? Will she get gender discrimination or no?
Let's ask Sophie that.
Yes, it is there.
No, I wanted to answer the first question, which is I think the most important thing is, be it it's workplace or home, or it's about the ecosystem. I think a woman, especially in that very interesting phase, these are 3-4 years, 5 years maybe. 5 years, those when she's in the process of getting married and she starts a family, and that's why the 50% of the women, you know, decided, and the confidence level crashes. And it gets very difficult for them to get to business, get back to business. So it's about those 4 or 5 years where an ecosystem has to be very conducive for a, you know,
That's true.
and it's from not from just from work, from home, for family, from husband, from everyone around. And there are companies, especially in IT industry, we have sabbaticals, we have work from home, and this has to go from other industries, you know, not just.
You know, when we, very interestingly, yes, we've discussed all of this, but I just want to ask a very targeted question here. Sure. Are the men prepared for the women to be equal to them? I mean, that is the point.
No, they are not.
Is this a question to me?
Yes, it's a question to both the men.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. I mean, these are my 3 cents. These are my 3
You know, because
cents.
that's where the home comes in, and that's where work comes in, and that's
Their mindset is such that they do want some kind of subservience. They want to be told that they're special and they are better and they are, you know, far more superior somewhere, you know, where
let Sameer answer that.
The only
they
thing
need
I
to
will
be pampered constantly.
the only thing which I will say is, let's accept it. It's a change activity.
Yes.
And let's not paint it as black or white. I can't agree that men are not ready, but I obviously cannot say that every man is kind of already there.
Yes, because if everyone gives an answer like
There would be no problem.
Yes, this question was specific to me. Yes, and I had to give my
personal view,
my personal opinion.
So the way I will see is, the first generation of women liberation was that where we were asking the question, can women do it? They have obviously shown it that yes, they can do it. They can do it across multiple fields. So it's not that women can do well only in IT or only in teaching or only in medical sciences. They can do well in everybody. Today we have women in army, in air force, everywhere. So that is one part of the activity which is done, proved. I don't think anybody in this group also has a doubt on that. Now second part of the change exercise is where the counterpart, the male and society at large, accepting this uniformly across.
Yes.
And I believe that's a continuous activity. You can't do it overnight. It's a process. I believe that it's moving in positive direction. I have got no reason to say that it's not changing. It is improving. Society is accepting it. The spouse is accepting it. The children are accepting it. But it needs to happen more uniformly across, more rapidly also. I'll agree. More rapidly, more uniformly. Maybe my view is coming from urban India. It has to happen in the rural India also. So this thing has to be taken in every corner of the country.
Yeah, I want to come back to the point which you said. This our 73-74%. If you're talking again why there is no 50-50, we're talking about the gender equality. One of the basic issues is about our 73-74% population living in the urban area. That ratio has to change. And some of the interesting factors that I mentioned again, there's a drop of about 45-46% in the attendance of the girls the moment they cross 5th, 6th standards. This is a horrendous data to look at.
True, we've gone through that. I'm just going to do a quick close. But before we close, what do we see, say, 10 years down the line? Anupama, how do you see the women, maybe, just let's not go very far. Let's just say the next few years. What does it look like?
There was a time, very recently, women were happy to be the second bread earner in the family. And today, their ambition is greater than that. They want to... it's a question of identity. It's a question of displaying professional talent. It's a question of what they want to leave behind as the work that they have done as individuals. So I think this the 50-50 mark is going to come through at all of the different levels. The challenges at each stage are going to be different. So it's going to become very soon, are you comfortable to be a leader? Are you comfortable to, be the front seat driver or not? And can you take the flack that comes with it? So I mean, there is going to be can you go right to the boardroom? So it's a different dimension of the debate. So
well, then sitting right at this platform, we have we've outdone everything.
3 women here is a thing of gender equality, and I personally have got a tremendous amount of support from my husband and family and friends,
and
so it is happening. So we can't be very
and you're going to populate it further down.
Yes, absolutely. What we see around is what we've discussed, and of course as individuals we will ourselves try and see whatever contribution we can make, and of course there is a positive note to it.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to just
make this for having us.
I'm going to make this very interesting quote by Joseph Conrad, who came up with this quote that being a woman is a terribly difficult task since it consists principally in dealing with men. That said, things have changed for women in the workplace. They may not necessarily make half the workplace, and promotions may still be an issue, but they are there. And businesses are recognizing that. Well, whether women are better than men, who knows? But they are certainly no worse.